Do I have audio now? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Huh. Interesting. Do I have audio now? Help. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Perfect. It's weird. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get started. I still don't see any comments. So hopefully that's working. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I don't know I don't know what's going on. So this is the transfer that we are using. Jason says hello from the other side of the door, and yay, I have comments on my screen. Woohoo! Okay, perfect. Okay, so we are using this size C. I'll try to zoom out a little more. Size C 12 by 18 National Anthem transfer.
The audio is doubling up.
Well, that's because I had it on my phone earlier. Is it still doubling up?
It's like, yeah, it's doubling up.
Great. Oh. Well,
Never mind, it was me. It was me. Sorry.
okay, perfect. Okie doke. Tell me how my audio and video is. Okay. So we are again. Take two. Okay, so we're going to be using the size C 12 by 18 National Anthem transfer. And then I have I believe this is a 20 by a 16 by 20 transfer. A 20 by... Okay. I just was checking my audio just to double check myself. So this is a 16 by 20 canvas that I have pulled apart. This is I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby. It is one of their black canvases. And so I've painted the frame white. I distressed it with a little bit of brown paint. And then I have also I've cut off all of the excess canvas. I lined up my canvas to my frame. And so what I do to make sure that I have everything all taped off correctly, I'll just show you real quickly, is I take a little bit of either masking tape or painter's tape, and I'll just take a few little strips like this, and I'll lay them out kind of like this against the edge of this board. And then when I take them off, I use another long piece of painter's tape, and I'll just line it up against those two pieces of tape. And so this gives me all of my paintable surface. So then you just remove these, and you know that this is your border, and your design needs to be within that border. So that's what we're going to do. So we need to first write down that this is the back side, and this is called National Anthem. I do have everything I do have a cart link in the description of the video that has all of the products that we are using this evening. So I wrote the word back because this is a reusable silkscreen transfer. I do need to replace it onto this carrier sheet when I'm ready to store it. So I know that when it is clean and dry, it goes on this side, and this side is the back. But we're going to put this away for well, I may not put it away. I'm actually going to I think I'm going to add a little bit more tape because this canvas is wider than it is tall. Maybe not. Maybe. Just trying to think. Nope, I'm going to leave it the way it is because I don't want to mess it up. But I do know I have liberty to go edge to edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this white. And you're probably saying to yourself, Robin, why couldn't you have just used a white canvas? I could have, but I really prefer the black canvases at Hobby Lobby over the regular white canvases. I just think they take chalk and paint a lot better, so that is what we're using. So I'm just going to quickly paint it, and I don't want it to be perfect. I kind of want that distressed look. And my edges, I don't want my edges. I kind of want my edges to look rough. So actually, I might end up going this way instead. And then I can kind of rough up these edges a bit. I don't want perfect edges. I kind of want the rough look. Whew, too much paint, Robin. I don't want perfect paint, but I do also want smooth paint. So I don't want a lot of paint strokes. Oops. So I'm just laying down some paint. Forget that apple barrel paint is like glue. Okay. Let's turn our canvas around. Hey, Miss Bonita, do not worry about being late. I'm just glad you're here. So I have a 16 by 20 canvas that I deconstructed. And so I'm just laying down some base white paint. And I explained earlier, I don't know when you came on, but you could have just used a white canvas, but I prefer the black canvases. They just they work better with paint and paste. So I'm just painting this one white. Plus it's going to give a really cool distressed background to my national anthem transfer. I don't want it perfect. It is going to look far from perfect. Okay, so let's get that drying. I'm going to get out the big hair dryer tonight. Oops. Did everyone have a good weekend? Okay, sorry it's going to get a little loud. Sorry, it's so loud. Anita says she's a fan of the distressed look. This one is looking quite distressed. Blew my transfer right off the table. Okay. Just because I want a smooth surface, I think I'm going to sand it just a little bit, my paint, because I pulled it when it was drying. It got kind of funky, right? You see that little spot right there? I want to make sure I have a mostly smooth surface. And this may take some of the paint off, but that's not a bad thing. Just want to make sure my surface is smooth. I don't even want straight edges. I just want it smooth. Okay, so I'm going to put this off of my table. I'm going to blow dry all that dust off. Okay, I think that'll work. It's pretty much going to be all covered up anyway. I need to rescue my transfer that fell off. So you can see, let me show you up close. So you can see how distressed this transfer is already. So up in the stars, you can see some of the, there's some diagonal distressing, and then like there's some distressed parts in here. So I'm not worried about getting a perfect paint job down here. Over there. So now I think we're about ready to use the transfer. I'm going to flip it over It's easier on these larger transfers to pull the backer sheet away from the transfer. There's less of a risk of the transfer falling back on itself if you do it that way. So now we're going to fuzz this, although I don't think, just because the way that the transfers are manufactured now, they're still sticky, but they're not as super sticky as they used to be. So I'm not terribly worried about this sticking to my canvas. I probably should be, but I'm just knocking back a little bit of the adhesive with this terry cloth towel. It's called fuzzing your transfer. And in my case, it's called linting my transfer because I have too much lint on my towel. Okay, I blame it on Luna. I'm just going to, the transfer pretty much goes from top to bottom. In fact, I think I'm going to remove the tape down here so I know, well, I'm going to move some of the tape so I can still see, so I can, let's look up here. I can move it up just a skosh up here. I think. And then what's that look down here? That'll work. Okay, I think that works. And I think that works up here. Okay. So the colors I have are, I'm using Home, but you could use Cadet, or if you're old school and you still have Midnight in your stash, you could use that color. So I'm going to use Home or Cadet up here. And then these lines that are just the text are going to be Black Velvet. Is that right? Yes, so I won't need white. And then these lines will be Cherry. I think that works. Is that how it works? Or do I gotta look at my photo. Let's look really quick and then I'll show you. I looked this morning. So this is the, I'm using the photo from Couture. I can find it. Yeah. So this is on the, I believe it's probably either the Aiden or like the Grayson. It's probably the Aiden. So they have painted their black chalkboard white, and then they've used a blue, a black, and a red. Because the text here, no, that's not right. Yeah, the text in these stripes will still be white because my background is white, and then the stripes themselves will be red. It'll make sense. If you're lost, kind of like I am, it'll make sense. Bonita's asking if she needs to wax the painted canvas so it doesn't pull off the paint. I'm not terribly worried about that, mainly because these transfers aren't as sticky as they used to be. I don't know. I'll just we'll just test it and see. If you feel like waxing it, you go right ahead. That's just a lot of waxing, in my opinion. And so let me be your guinea pig, and we'll see if we need to wax. How about that? Okay, so let's get out our home. Oh, why did I do that? So I'm going to get out a larger squeegee for the star area. I'm going to throw that out before I end up wearing it. Okay, so let's get quite a bit of ink or paste. You know what I meant. Benita says, works for me. Yeah, just let me be your guinea pig. We'll try it without waxing. I don't think it's going to stick. So I'm just dragging the paste along the silkscreen area. I'm going to also try not to press very hard. One, because there's not a lot of adhesive. Two, that'll help my transfer not dig so much into the paint that's underneath it. And three, it'll just kind of help keep it from squooshing everywhere. And don't be afraid to turn your project. Oh. You do want to work quickly without hurrying, if that makes sense, because you don't want the paste to dry in the silkscreen area. I'm also going to even out my squeegee lines. I'm going to put any excess back in my container. Oops, I have a big old blob right there. Right there. Okay. So now let's pull this gently. And it did pull up a little bit right there. Okay. So I have released it from the transfer. So that it should not, the paste should not dry in the silk screen. I just have a little blob right here I need to get rid of. Okay, so let's put that away. Hopefully, it did start to dry up here. You can see it, but I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm just going to burnish gently right there where the black goes. I'm going to get a skinny squeegee. So I've probably just cut one of these in half. And then let's go ahead and get our red out. And I think we'll just go, if it's not too hard, we'll just go row by row. Let me get a couple different versions out. We'll see what works. So this is black velvet. And I think I'm just going to come down this way. Maybe not. I think we're just going to do it this way. Make sure you get the tops and the bottoms of all your letters. I usually end up missing some. So let's pull. This one's going to be super distressed. And I will warn you, if you use a canvas, don't expect perfection just because of the way that the canvas texture is. It will feather just a bit. Just expect that, and you should be okay. Get a lot more paste on your okay. Let's see what that does. That's pretty. And when you're working with the transfer this size, sometimes you have to be careful when you put your transfer down like this because you might bleed into the next section. Jason says this is going to be awesome if I don't have a nervous breakdown before the end. Okay, I'm just going to tuck this underneath. Okay, so now we're doing black. So I have a tendency to use not enough paste while I'm going, and I have a tendency to pull it all off as I go, and that makes it makes the letters that I started first dry faster. So I'm trying to remind myself to use more paste and not scrape it all off at the beginning. So now I can scrape it off. Except for I'm probably getting it into the red section. So I'm going to kind of angle my squeegee. I think I got some in the red. Nope. Oops. Okay. Too many moving parts. This is definitely going to be a distressed project. Let's use something a little smaller. now let's burnish down our red. So now let's come back in with our cherry. Oops. See, I forgot what I was going to tell myself. So let's get off the excess. And then we'll pull that part up. Too much. Okay. Okay, so now we'll come back in with the black. I think I haven't posted it yet, but I think maybe Friday, last Friday, there was a bundles deal that dropped. It was last Friday. So there are some bundles that are available on my chalk site. Pretty cool bundles. And then, so those are on special and designer and perks. Benefits apply to those as well. It didn't work really. My "the" is a little wimpy. Let's see if I can fix it. Nope. Come down here. Okay, so now come back to the cherry. This one's a little tedious, but I think it's going to be so worth it in the end. Oops. Getting a little carried away over here. Ah. Okay. Oh, I am messy. Okay. It's starting to dry. She is definitely distressed. Okay, let's come back to the black. Okay. See what I mean? So I got paste here, so I'm going to take that off. That's why I try to put something protective over the bottom part of my transfer, because that always happens. Okay. So now we're on the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. I am messy. Okay. Just need to pull it back enough to where I'm not totally blasting my transfer with air. Okay. I need to burnish down this line. Okay. How's everybody doing out there? Ah, Anita says you're doing an amazing job. Thank you. It has its quirks, that's for sure. But I'm just going to accept that it's going to be a little more distressed than originally designed, but that's okay. It's definitely handmade. Ooh. I'm getting black and everything. Some different paste here. So I would say if you are new to this and you want to tackle it, do all of the black lines last, because black is really good about mixing in with your other colors. I thought it would be a good idea to go line by line, but hindsight, I probably should have gone red, all red first, and then all black, because I got a little carried away with the black above this line, and now I have lots of black mixed in with that red line. Ah! Okay. Whew. I got my ego. So I think I'm going to skip down and do this red line. Maybe. Yeah. Get that out of the way. Jason says doing great. He's probably says he's doing great. Answering my question. Now I know why I don't do the size transfers very often. Ugh. They're a beast. I'm just making a mess at this point. I'm just slapping it on. Okay, so I'm going to pull up from the bottom. Try to keep that line above this one intact. So I got a little outside the lines right there, but I'm pretty confident that my black is going to cover it. As I smear red all over. This is why I'm constantly wiping my hands, because I end up getting it everywhere if I don't. Okay, I'm going to use one of these little teeny ones. That's what I should have been using all along. Feel free to cut your squeegees up into little, whatever tiny pieces that will work. That was much easier. I should have been doing that all along. I'm going to tack that edge and that edge down, just so I don't lose my spot. Uh-oh, kind of lost my spot. Okay, last line. Woohoo! Ooh, I'm going to have to clean up this paste tub when I'm done. Lots of striping. What a mess. Okay. Hurry, quick, hurry. Okay, well, it is far from perfect. It is definitely distressed. Okay, I'm going to walk this transfer over to the sink and get it, get some water put on it. So I'll be right back. Okie doke. I need to clean my hands. Jason says that is stunning. Thank you. Just, it has a few warts. That's okay. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's get that all clean. Pull. Put these away. These away. Throw those in there. my lids on. Try to clean up my mess a little bit. Okay. Those back in their home. Okay. Try to clean up my hands a little bit. Okay, so it has a few warts. Like, I missed some spots there. It pulled up there. There. I've got a splotch right there. Benita says she's a huge fan of distressed Americana. She thinks it's wonderful. It is definitely very distressed. I may have to fix my S here a little bit later, but we'll see. So now I think we'll just pull off this tape. And see what we have. It'd be kind of neat just like that, but we're going to put it in the frame. I'm going to definitely make sure it is dry. Yeah, she is definitely distressed. Okay, need to get out some. Get out some double stick tape. So now I think we are ready to assemble. So there's just going to be a little tiny bit of black border. And actually, before I do that, I think I want to add a little bit, oh, sorry for my head, a little bit of black to my frame, I think. Try this. So I have some black soot here. I just have, I'm going to I think actually, instead of using I'm just going to use I just want to add a little bit of oops that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Oh, that's okay over there. I think I'll just mainly stick to the edges. Just to add, just kind of so it's not so brown. like that a little better. Don't mind that. Quite what I was going for, but we just sand it out a little bit. It's not so harsh. It's not bad. I think we'll just stick with that. Okay. Now, does that look a little better? A little less brown? Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So I think to help place this, I'm going to add a little bit of double stick tape just because my spacing needs to be a little bit more precise on this one. I'm hoping that this will help. We'll see. I've done this on other ones. And it has helped. Okay. I'm just going to pop it down, kind of press it down in those 4 areas where I have the tape. It's not going to stick. I just need you to stick long enough for me to flip it over. I thought that was going to work. I have a little bit more gap over here than I do. That worked. Okay, so I've got it, roughly. Okay, so now I need my staple gun. And some staples. Okay. Let's hope these fit in there. Okay, so I'm just going to feel, and I have enough red paste on my finger that it's leaving a red mark. So I just want to feel for where the edge is, and I want to get fairly close to that edge. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to pull straight across from that other staple. I'm going to keep doing that where I've added the tape, because that's going to help the tension in the center of my canvas. And then I'll come back in with a hammer and hammer those down. So now I like to go in and add a little bit more tape, because it helps to keep the canvas connected to the frame. peel off. Come on. So I'm going to add some to this edge. Burnish that down. Okay. So then I'm going to pull tight, find the corner, add a staple, and then I'm just going to keep adding staples. Sorry, it's going to be kind of noisy. I'm going to do this other corner. Nothing like watching 1,000 staples get shot in, or stuck into some wood. This is probably overkill, but I like the fact that my you can't push in the canvas this way. Sometimes you can push in on the canvas on the inside of the frame, and this keeps it from doing that. So then I'm going to pull that way. Oops, I'm going to end up with a big bubble. Okay, so I'm going to find my corner. Then I'm going to just keep adding staples to that edge. I do check every now and then to make sure, one, I'm straight, and two, I'm not shooting past the frame. I can come in here. Add some more tape. Stick that little piece right there. Okay. Pull that, get that stuck in the corner. Feel for your edges. Okay, last two corners. Oops. I think I'll go ahead and staple that one. Are y'all tired of that stapling noise yet? Just use this. And I think this is just Dollar Tree double-sided adhesive tape. It does the job. Okay, let's pull that taut. Oops. Find my corner. And then pull that. Last one. Okie doke. We're ready to see the, and then I usually come back in and I'll either staple these corners down. I also usually run some, you can either run some more double stick tape to tack this down, or you can just use glue, hot glue, regular glue, just so that they don't fly up, and you can cover up those edges. There is our canvas, and let me show you why I add the tape. So this is actually the very first Couture project I ever did, and so you can kind of see in there, there's a, you know, you can push that canvas back and you can see down in there, like down, you can kind of see in there, like down in there. So when I use the tape, I can't push, it's stuck onto that back edge of the canvas. So that's why I like to add the tape, just because it helps keep the canvas taut, and it keeps it from being able to be pushed back, and then you can see all that stuff in the back. It's just personal preference. You don't have to do that. That's just kind of what I do. Plus it kind of helps keep it in its place when you flip it over. It helps to keep it tight. I also learned a trick when I pulled out some old vendor stuff. Like if you pull out a canvas and it's got like dimples and stuff in it where something was pushing in from one of the sides, you can lightly mist the back side of your canvas with water, and then as it dries, it kind of I don't even, contracts, constricts, I don't know what it does, but it totally flattens out and it gets really tight. So that's a helpful tip if you have a canvas that has gotten kind of it's been poked by something else and has kind of a divot or dimple in it. Okay, let me switch our camera back. Let me show you from this way what let's see if I can zoom out. Let me show you. So here is our picture. I can't see myself. So that's what it looks like. Give me some thumbs up if you like it, or give me some red, white, and blue hearts or stars in the comments. It is definitely super distressed. Let me go up to the overhead and I'll just so you can kind of see all of the, it's definitely distressed, but I like this really rough edge right here. There is definitely a lot of distress, but I do like it. I think it turned out really pretty. Okie doke. So that is our project for the evening. If you happen to make one, let me know. Tag me, post it on my page, all of the above. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this evening. I will be live again on Wednesday with another project. Thank you for the hearts, red, white, and blue, Mr. Jason. So I will be live again on Wednesday. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you in my next crafty video. Thanks for watching.